Hi guys, today's burning issues. I haven't done one for a few weeks because business and life has gotten a bit hectic, which is what it is. But there you go, and I'll try and get these back on track for every week. So today's burning issues is, excuse the shaving error on both sides of my face. Anyway, today's burning issues is all about the Brené Brown teaching, which is she's just amazing. If you haven't come across Brené Brown, spelled Brene, there's some accents there as well on the e's, and then just Brown as you'd expect. The book, the one that I'm reading, is called Daring Greatly, and then there's a great TED talk and also a great Netflix special on her as well, where she kind of gives an hour or so talk as to a bunch of people on stage type of thing. And there's a couple of things that resonate, but the thing I really want to talk about is where she discusses that you cannot selectively minimize emotion. Now, just a bit on Brené Brown. She's spent like 20 years or so being an academic, studying the human psyche, what makes us tick, why are certain people happier than others, what is the underpinnings, like what scientifically, in her research, what's coming up is kind of how does someone who's gone through genocide or the Holocaust or any of these atrocities, how do they come out of that, and how do they then have a positive outlook on life? How does that even happen? And so this piece that I really resonated with was the fact that you can't selectively minimize emotion. Now, what she means by that is we all think to ourselves, well, I don't want to feel angry or upset or pissed off or depressed or sad or any of the negative emotions. So what I will do instead is I will just nullify them. I'll ignore they don't exist. I will minimize them to the best of my ability. I will distract myself from those emotions. I won't feel them properly. I'll go out and I will get intoxicated. I will watch something that makes me not think about them. I will just do everything in my power to put them in a box, to completely ignore them forever and a day. Well, it kind of sounds like, yeah, makes sense why you would do that. But what then you're missing out on is the other side of it, which is the joy, the jubilation, the celebration, the happiness, all of the positive things, emotions that we want to feel. So what she's saying is by minimizing one of those sets of emotions or even one emotion itself, you can't then experience the maximum of the other side. You have to feel both. And this is interesting because many years ago in the corporate sector, I had a mentor that told me that you want to keep yourself in this control zone. And actually, I think I've done a video if you go back far enough, and this is quite interesting. This control zone. In other words, don't go too happy, don't go too sad. Just keep yourself very controlled, very stable. And again, you think as a younger person, hearing from a mentor at a big corporate company, who's the experienced director, well, you've got to your position, so surely maybe that's the way to approach things. But how wrong that person was, because that's a robot. That is not allowing yourself to feel. And not allowing yourself to feel makes us inhuman. And the whole part about being a human is to express yourself, to feel. And feeling is so important. If you say to yourself, no, I don't want to feel down, I don't want to feel up, I just want to feel controlled, that's robotic, and that is not what life's all about. And then I think there's a couple other kind of principles I'll bring into this, and one is the Buddhist principle of not fighting against said emotion, not really challenging it, not asking why am I feeling this way. If you wake up in the morning feeling groggy or sad or upset or tired or angry, just being like, all right, like just sit with it. It will pass. I was interviewing a fellow the other day, and he had this poem on his wall about the guest house. In other words, your brain is this guest house. You know, it welcomes positivity in, it welcomes negativity in. You cannot just go, I don't want to receive the negativity, because all of a sudden then you don't open that guest house to the positivity. And I thought it's quite an interesting way of looking at it. And then if you also couple that with what Mark Manson says about the subtle art of not giving a fuck, what he's talking about, of being very selective about what you care about. So if you do those three things in tandem, you really are specific as to what you care about, and everything else just falls into insignificance. if you really practice the sitting with whatever the emotion is, not fighting against it, not trying to distract yourself against it, not trying to pick yourself up or put yourself down, whichever way it may be. And on top of that, you realize that you cannot selectively minimize emotion, because by minimizing one emotion, you minimize all emotion. All of a sudden, you allow yourself this range. And that's what we are as humans. We're allowed to express ourselves. We're allowed to have a range of emotions. And I think if you do those three things in tandem, your life and your happiness and everything else will just increase and improve dramatically. So I hope that it helps, and I hope that has been of insight and information and important to you guys, that you kind of, even if you don't agree with me, at least you've had some food for thought. Thank you for listening and watching, and I will see you again. Cheers.